Well, thank you, Phyllis, for opening us up this morning. Welcome, everyone, to Unity of Bloomington on this lovely Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to anyone who has ever expressed paternal love or been the recipient of paternal love. Of course, we welcome everyone who's here present today, as well as anybody who might be live streaming and watching us. And in the future, if there are folks who are watching a recorded version, please know your soul is welcome here. So our theme for June is the power in pride. Rising in wisdom, rooted in love, speaking with spiritual power. We have a corresponding affirmation, which I invite you to say with me. This month, we celebrate the sacred call to live our life guided by inner knowing, held in divine love, and empowered to speak our truth. As we honor both pride and the divine masculine, we affirm that every expression of the divine is holy, whole, and welcome. And now let's stand, if that's comfortable, and we're going to sing together our welcome song, the God Chant. There she is, will be leading us in our Namaste greeting.
Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. You know, I practice what I preach, right? So I'm downstairs being the greeter, not just asking folks to do stuff. And so let's take a moment to thank the United States Army, 250 years of service. Let's thank them. And then happy Father's Day to all the fathers, stepfathers, grandfathers, stepped in to be a father. I appreciate you. My uncles served as my fathers. And so I am grateful for them. I think there was kids dismissed. I always forget. Kids dismissed, so we have Tegan in the back. And the kids will go down and work with her. And then today, let's just hold love in our hearts. I think right now our country needs love. And so I'm asking you, as we greet one another today, let that love flow out and cover this country. For I know the love in this place. It has healed me, inspired me, guided me, directed me, and protected me. And let that same love flow out. Namaste. And you're free to move about the cabin. also forgot to wish you happy anniversary. They say, this isn't the church's anniversary. No, but Chira reminded me of something. It was Father's Day weekend last year that I came to present myself. So we went to Food Trucks Friday. We had an ice cream social. I did a presentation. I spoke here on that Sunday. You had so much food that I had already determined that if you didn't give me an offer, I was coming back anyway. And so how wonderful. It's when we all got to meet. It's when I got to step into this sacred and holy space. So thank you. Thank you for your diligence, for the line you drew of who was going to come here. And then thank you for allowing me to be the person to step across that line. This is a wonderful, wonderful day. Let us take a moment for prayer. We got yes, it's prayer time because the graphic told me so. Listen, you know, my heart is, I told Chira, she said, are you okay? I said, I am. I said, I'm just feeling extra vigilant today. After what happened in Minnesota, we can disagree, okay? Violence is never the answer, never. We can disagree, but let's talk about it. Let's see the humanity in each other. And so let's pray for the Minnesota state representatives, families who, their parents who were killed today. So there are some children today who are gonna have Father's Day without their dad because of what someone decided to do yesterday. Pray for those who are still in the hospital. Pray for our leaders. This is the time for them to rise up and show what this country is about. And it's time for us to rise up in consciousness, to hold that space against the encroaching lower vibe, that fear, that division. That's how this works. I'm afraid of you, you're different than me, I'm gonna harm you. But if I saw, as we did, the namaste moment, the God, the love, the truth in you, I wouldn't wanna harm you. So let's take a breath in and out. And as we step into this sacred space with divine knowing that we are one. That is our proclamation throughout this whole service. We are one. We let that energy go across the world. We are one. Don't need missiles, don't need guns, don't need the pen. We need love. We need the knowing that we are one. Division is a lie. Separateness is a hoax. The truth is, we are one in the spirit, we are one in love, and we are one in humanity. And that is our prayer today. And so it is.
I see joy, I see peace, I see goodness surrounding me. I see love in every breath I breathe. I see God in everything. I see happiness, I see freedom. I see the beauty that lives in me. I see perfection in what life brings. I see God in everything. I feel joy, I feel peace, I feel goodness surrounding me. I feel love in every breath I breathe. I feel God in everything. I feel happiness, I feel freedom. I feel the beauty that lives in me. I feel
So today's inspirational reading is from a prolific poet and author from India. Her name is Anu Nandakumar, and I'm sure she'll forgive me if I mispronounce that. And today's poem, as is appropriate for Father's Day, is about the divine masculine. He is the divine masculine, strength and power personified, an unwavering pillar of stability. Creating order out of chaos, he shapes the world with his hands. He is the divine masculine, the protector, the provider, guiding and leading with authority, a warrior with a compassionate heart, defending what he holds dear. He is the divine masculine, balancing logic and intuition, mastering the dance of reason and emotion. His wisdom flows like a mighty river, nurturing growth and understanding. He is the divine masculine, fierce and fearless in pursuit of truth, harnessing his energy with purpose, an embodiment of discipline and honor, walking with integrity in every step. He is the divine masculine, the lover and the beloved, embracing passion and vulnerability. He seeks connection on a soul level, bringing harmony to union and partnership. He is the divine masculine, a sacred embodiment of strength and grace. In harmony with the divine feminine, together they weave a tapestry of existence. He is the divine masculine. She is his genesis of power. He cherishes it and honors it. Their hearts beat in unison. To honor and embrace the divine masculine, for he is an essential part of the cosmic dance. Within each of us, the divine masculine resides, a source of power and wisdom to be realized. He is the divine masculine. Thank you, Anu. She has a lot of other wonderful writings. If you look her up on the web, she's very inspirational. Speaking of inspirational people, our guest speaker today is Reverend Bill Breeden, someone who I consider one of Bloomington's living legends. He's a retired Unitarian Universalist minister, a lifelong peace activist. Reverend Bill has been briefly imprisoned for peace in Indiana, Kentucky, Washington, D.C., and in the Honduras. A past recipient of Bloomington's Human Rights Award, he's done extensive work in prison ministry, especially working with people on death row. Reverend Bill brings a voice of compassion, courage, and grounded faith. He and his wife, Glenda, partner of 56 years, now live simply in a small self-built cabin on 40 acres of forest in Owen County, rooted in a life of love and resistance. They have 2 adult grandchildren, 1 adult grandson, all 3 of whom are constant reminders of the beauty of life. We at Unity of Bloomington are honored to have Reverend Bill and his wife Glenda here today. They're going to share not only the message, but musical inspiration, a song from Harry Chapin.
Well, it's good to be here again. It's been a while, a year, maybe 2, I don't know. We were here and did a talk back, I think this is on, right?
Yeah, we're up close.
With Tana last time. Yeah. Was here, so it's good to be here again.
Harry Chapin's one of my heroes. 80% of his benefits in his wonderful life were, or 80% of his concerts were benefits. He literally gave money away for good causes until he died. And this song is just one of my favorites that he wrote. It ain't easy growing up to be Jesus. All the neighbors thought he really was a strange one. Gossip kept on building to a buzz. Everybody knew he was different. No one knew who or what he was. Well, they say he's supposed to be the son of the Lord, but he's keeping just as quiet as a mouse. He's been waiting for a call from the man upstairs, but he lives in a one-story house. It isn't easy growing up to be Jesus when you're steady job and no steady girl. You ain't got time to worry about those little things in life when you're supposed to be out saving the world. Well, we all know adolescence is confusing, but tell me, how confused can you get? He's been hanging around here for almost 30 years now, and he hasn't even really started yet. Oh, the questions kept on building in crescendo. They were asking them again and again. His father said, I don't understand him. And his mother simply said,
Amen.
it isn't easy growing up to be Jesus with no steady job and no steady girl. No, you ain't got time to worry about those little things in life when you're supposed to be out saving the world. Oh, you ain't got time to worry about those little things in life when you're supposed to be out saving the world. Well, it's good to be with you again here at Unity. I love your building. I love your spirit. I love what you do here. Every time I send in a sermon title to a church, it seems like I think I'm preaching every Sunday this month somewhere. I should put a disclaimer on it saying subject to change at any moment without announcement. Because preaching is, to me, I started preaching when I was 15 years old in tent revivals, holiness tent revivals. And I'll just tell you a little story about that. When my twin brother, my mother and dad had 3 sets of twins and 3 singles. And their name was Breeden, for God's sake. I'd have changed my name after the second set of twins. But my pappy he only had a 6th or 7th grade education, but he was a brilliant man, self-taught machinist, and he worked for National Gypsum Company, maintenance manager. And he'd come home from work, jump in the bathtub, clean up, put on a suit and tie, and take us to revivals. And I told the Unitarians when I joined them over there, and they asked me to speak occasionally, and then called me as a minister. I said, my twin brother and I, when Pappy would take us to revivals, he'd set us right on the front rows. These were in tent meetings and all kinds of things. And there was an old tabernacle over by Sullivan, Indiana, that had been a theater. And many of you, I see, are old enough to remember the old theater seats. They were wooden and bolted to the floor and had to fold up bottoms. And so Pappy would make us sit right on the front row, my twin brother and I. We were the cutest things ever was. We got over that, but he wanted to keep an eye on us, make sure we behaved in the service. And he was singing, and when Pappy sang, the preachers loved him because you didn't have to preach when Pappy sang. People just flocked to the altar and scream and holler and run the aisles. And when you're, 6 or 7 years old, it's kind of freaky. And we were sitting there one time, and Pappy started singing this song, When They Ring Those Golden Bells. And it was a real tear-jerking song about heaven and all this. And people were running the aisles and shouting and carrying on. And this old fella, he seemed to be old to us. We were only 6 or 7. And he probably wasn't, maybe not as old as I am now, but he was an old guy to us. And he kept walking back and forth in front of us as Pappy was singing. And then he stopped and looked at us, and then he took off and jumped and He ran on the backs of the chairs, all the way to the back of that tabernacle, all the way back down, and jumped down right in front of us. And of course, we're sitting there, eyes agog like this. And he said, I can't help it, boys. It's just this new pair of shoes. And I told the Unitarian Universalists, y'all are awful staid, awful, everything's so intellectual. I said, if you're going to have a religion, get a religion that makes you feel like you got a new pair of shoes. And I kind of feel that around here. You guys do that well. So we began preaching and singing in revivals very early, and it was a while before we were awakened to a new reality. And a disclaimer, I'm agnostic. I don't claim any religion anymore except love. And the only definition I have of God is love. And I think you can, just change it to love anywhere and it works. So that's where we are. And we are glad to be in Owen County. And I'll tell you, in Owen County, in Spencer, Indiana, yesterday morning at 10 o'clock, we had 100 people protesting what's going on in America. In Spencer, Indiana. That's Owen County, Indiana. And people are waking up, and I'm glad to see it. I remember my homiletics teacher in seminary years ago. He said, whenever you preach, you have 2 jobs. Comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. Now, I hope I'm not going to afflict you badly today. But the fact is, sometimes we need to be afflicted. We need to be woke up. I want to read to you begin with a poem of Kahlil Gibran. Kahlil was a Lebanese American writer, Maronite Christian, and Sufi. He was also considered a philosopher, although he himself rejected the title. He's best known by the book The Prophet, which was published in the United States in 1923 and has since become one of the best-selling books of all time, having been translated into more than 100 languages. And I've had this book with me for many, many years. And I want to read a piece from it. And I think it's important on Father's Day, and I'm not going to stress Father's Day. I'm a father, and I like it. And fathers are good. It's good to have around. Thank God they got mothers to help them be good. But this is a good reading for Father's Day. This is I'd really rather call it Parents' Day in a way, so it celebrates all of us. As a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, "Speak to us of children." And he said, "Your children are not your children. They are sons and daughters of life longing for self. They come through you, but not from you, and though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you, for life goes not backwards nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending be in the archer's hand. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness. For even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves the bow that is stable." Much of our problems in our society today, I think, are because the bows are not stable, and because parents insist on making their children like them, flying in the same arc that they have flown, when really From the time they leave the bow, they are new creatures. The coolest, most amazing people, says Brian Doyle, another one of my favorite writers. The coolest among amazing people I've met in my life, I said, are the ones who are not very interested in power or money, but who are very interested in laughter and courage and grace under duress and holding hands against the darkness and finding new ways to solve old problems and being attentive and tender and kind to every sort of being, especially dogs and birds and, of course, children. And cats. I'm not a cat person. I'm glad you reminded me they exist. No, we've had some wonderful cats too. It's just. And now another poem by Joseph Fasano. I don't think you'll have any trouble understanding the meaning thereof. The last love poem would have in it a mother, a child in the cellar, hiding as the sky began its falling. Look what's left of the place where they were hiding. A diary, a scrap of bread, a toy, and then very softly, as the bootsteps come, a mother lifting water to her child's lips, saying, your father was like soft rain in my orange trees. Never forget that you were made in wild joy. Never forget that you were made in wild joy. I don't have to tell you, but I will. This nation is in as big a crisis as it has ever been. I know we had a civil war, but we had a president who was like a father and loved his country. Elaine Griffin Baker writes, there is no art in this White House. There is no literature or poetry in this White House. No music, no Kennedy Center Award celebrations. There are no pets in this White House. No loyal man's best friend. No socks of family cat. No kids' science fairs. No times when this president takes off his blue suit, red tie uniform and becomes human, except when he puts on his white shirt, khaki pants, uniform, and hides from Americans to play golf. There are no images of the first family enjoying themselves together in a moment of relaxation. No Obamas on the beach in Hawaii moments, or Bushes fishing in Kennebunkport, or Reagan on horseback, or Kennedy's playing football on the Cape. I was thinking the other day of the summer when George H. couldn't catch a fish and all the grandkids made signs and counted the fishless days. And somehow, even if you didn't like GHB, you got caught up in the joy of a family that loved each other and had fun. Where did that country go? Where did all of the fun and joy and expressions and love and happiness go? We used to be a country that did the ice bucket challenge and raised millions for charity. We used to have a president that calmed and soothed the nation instead of dividing it. A first lady that planted a garden instead of ripping one out. We are rudderless and joyless. We have lost the cultural aspects of society that make America great. We have lost our mojo, our fun, our happiness, the cheering on of others, the shared experiences of humanity that makes all of it worth it, the challenges that we shared and celebrated, the unique can-do spirit Americans have always been known for. We have lost so much in so short a time. Thousands of people were around the courthouse yesterday. Thousands. Yeah. I'm sore today from carrying about an 8-foot puppet for hours in Spencer and in Bloomington. Elon Musk said the fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy. They're exploiting a bug in the Western civilization, which is the empathy response. Empathy, he said, has been weaponized. So empathy has kind of disappeared now from this top down. Gilbert was one of the chief psychologists who interviewed Nazis on the trial at Nuremberg. His words are valid today. I told you once that I was searching for the nature of evil. I think I've come close to defining it, a lack of empathy. It's the one characteristic that connects all of the defendants, a genuine incapacity to feel with their fellow human beings. Evil, I think, is the absence of empathy. It is time for us to be Americans in a real way. It is time for us to be human beings to one another in a real way. And hating is not the answer. I've often asked, don't you hate Trump? No, I do not hate Trump. I don't have time for hate. Hate destroys me more than it destroys the hated. The hater is already dying in me if I choose that way. So no, I don't hate him. I actually, I like for his death to be very peaceful. I'd like not to be in pain. I wish he knew what love was. I've read the history of his family. He didn't know what love was. He was a loveless child. And I pity him, but I don't hate him. And I really believe that we have to get over this hate complex. They try to build us up to hate the other. But the other is me. Donald Trump is my brother. And who was it? Some misguided, wandering Palestinian socialist Jew said, love your enemies. Love your enemies. And I think that's what we have to come to. I think we have to begin to love again. We have to love ourselves again. We have to respect ourselves again. And I really believe that that can happen. I have a lot of confidence in young people. I think young people are the answer. They're not the question, they're the answer. And I think as we move into the future, we need to lift up our young people, empower them to act, protect them when they do. The church, I think some people get the idea that churches are just here for us in this building or online, that it's just for us. But the church should be a powerful force for peace and justice and love. And that's the only way we're going to get through this. We're going to have to love our way out of this. We cannot hate our way out of it. And I have to wake up every day and remind myself of that. And I watch the news and I listen to it, but I don't allow it to control me. I don't allow it to take away the love in my heart. And I remember a meme that came on my TV one day, or my computer, and it showed Donald Trump coming in a kitchen door. And it said, what would you do? I would say, can I get you something to drink? Can we sit down and talk? Hate is not going to get us out of this problem. And if Father's Day or Parents' Day or whatever we want to call it, if it means anything, it should mean loving. It should mean accepting. Who hates a child when it's born? I don't know that that's ever happened. Love is natural. I think when children are born, we cry. Back when our first child was born, we had a very conservative doctor, and he didn't allow husbands to come into delivery, and he didn't allow wives or mothers to make their own decisions and all that. And then when our second child was born, I was working nights in seminary, and Glenda called and said she needed to go to the hospital, and I raced. We drove 75 miles an hour down Troost Avenue in Kansas City, just hoping a cop would stop me, and then I'd have an escort. But when we walked into the the hospital, they took her away, and I told them I wanted to be in the delivery room. They said, go in there and get dressed up, and we'll come back and get you. By the time I came out, the baby was there. So I didn't get to see that moment of birth. But I can tell you, the first time you see the child, there's no hate in your heart. It'd be impossible to hate. And I think somehow or another we have to be reborn as Americans, as people, as human beings. We have to be reborn and understand that when we were born, we were loved. And when we gave birth to others, we are loving. And somehow or another, we have to love the enemy. And we can never let them take our love away. I think that's really the answer. It's really the answer to our situation. Love. Love in action. Love with boots on the ground. Love in walking and marching and resisting, but not out of hate, not out of the kind of thing that will rise an army, but out of the thing that will rise in a community of loving people. I'm honored to be with you today. I have other things I would have read to you, but I don't think it's necessary. I think it calls for each of us, this time that we live in, calls for each of us to get up in the morning, to shake off the blues. If you want, listen to blues music. That's one of the ways. I love blues music, but I don't want it to make me blue. I don't want it to make me hate. I don't want it to cause me to lose my love for this breath that I've been given. Because in the final analysis, the only thing that matters is what I do with the breath I just took. It's the only thing I own. Absolutely. I don't know. We have land out there and live in, but I don't own that. I own one breath. The one I just took. The only thing that really matters is how I give it back. And I may have told you this before, but when I was a teenager, we had some boys from Odin, Indiana, went over to Sanborn. They were the boys in town that had money and could buy hot rods and burn rubber in the street and do all that. And I always envied that kind of thing, but didn't have it. But they, about 3 carloads of them, went over to Sanborn one night, and they were spinning around, burning rubber like NASCAR winners in the streets. And this elderly man came out of his house and began railing at him, cussing him, you. Guess what he was saying? Get out of here, quit doing that. And they get out of their cars and they start calling, go on back in your house, you old man. And they're hollering back and forth at each other, and the old man dropped dead of a heart attack. The boys didn't want that to happen. The old man didn't want to happen. Both of them made choices. I want to be sure that the breath I just took, and maybe the last one I ever give back, I want to give it back in love. I don't want somebody dropping dead over something I said. I don't want somebody remembering words of hate with my last breath. And who knows, it might happen with the breath I just took. If we recognize that, that's all we own, is this breath. We don't own anything else. It's given to us by love. And if we don't give it back in love, we've missed a tremendous opportunity to change the world. That's what we're about. One breath at a time. That's all I can live. That's all I can do. And how I give that breath is all back to the world is all that really matters. Everything else is up for grabs. And I hope that if you're around when my last breath is exhaled, I hope you know it is in love. Take life one breath at a time. You won't worry near as much. You won't lose your senses near as much. You will realize that life is love. This breath is taken in love, and love gives it back. Blessed be.
We come with open hearts. We come with open minds. We come to hold a sacred space for truth to be revealed in this time. In this time, we come with open hearts. We come with open minds. We come to hold a sacred space for truth to be revealed in this time. In this time. In this time.
Meditation is a time to unplug from outer stimuli, a time to be totally aware of our breathing in and out. Om is an ancient mantra used in Hinduism and Buddhism. It is the first sound from the beginning of time, the sound of creation, the highest vibration. Join your voice with mine to create this pure energy. Phyllis will give us a starting note and will end us with a piano chord. So with your eyes closed, feel this energy and begin. Release your voice, keep breathing, and come back into Unity of Bloomington.
I am so glad
And now Reverend Karen Williams. Oh boy, props and everything for our pride moment.
I am so excited to share a gay pride. I have 10 slides, and the first one will be gay pride. This is the month that if you're homophobic, we make you very uncomfortable. The second slide I have is actually the rainbow flag. Yes, we started to own the colors in 1978. Actually, Harvey Milk, who was the first open elected politician on the Board of Supervisors in San Francisco at that time, said, we need to have a flag. Unfortunately, Harvey Milk, along with the mayor of San Francisco, were murdered. The individual that murdered them got 5 years for voluntary manslaughter. But not only do we own the colors, we own the alphabet. Slide 3. Yes. As we're expanding the colors, we're owning the alphabet. The L is what? Lesbian. The G? Gay. B? Bisexual. T? Queer. Yeah. I don't know what plus is for either. I figured straight people. Support. Yes. Actually, I do. But I think it's for straight people because, you know, we're inclusive like that, right? But we're expanding the alphabet all the time. So, yes, we own the colors, we own the alphabet, and pretty soon we're going to own the numbers. Just saying. When my father died, it's actually his birthday today. He would have been 90 years old on Father's Day. And when he died 6 years ago, I opened up his Bible, and out of it came an article. That article, in fact, talked about homosexuality and how it's an abomination to God. And I'm so glad that I saw that article now than I did when I was trying to figure out my sexuality in my mid-30s. But I imagine when I saw it, it actually made me laugh when I read it, because I know that there was probably a guy sitting in his desk, working on a Saturday, probably eating a ham sandwich, probably wearing a polyester shirt with some cotton pants, and in fact, had a very unruly child that kept coming in, disrupting him, and then leaving. And I say that because the very verse that we call in the gay community the clobber verses, in other words, they want to clobber you with something, in that very section of the Bible also says you shouldn't wear, well, first of all, you shouldn't be working on Saturday, you shouldn't eat pork, you shouldn't wear two fabrics of the same time, and if your children are undisciplined, you should stone them to death. The thing about it is that the context of what was written by those authors was meant for that time. They understood what it meant, but to apply it to a modern society with no study at all of sexuality or gender identity, that didn't even come out until the 19th or 20th century. But yet they are able sometimes to pick those verses out, just the ones that kind of promote their own personal opinions, right? Yet ignoring all the others. So I just point that out, that when someone perhaps is saying something to you, at least you have some historical context of the biblical scholarships. And if a gay person, if you're opposed to gay marriage, and they ask you to marry you, just say no. It's okay. I actually, my pride moment, and I'm so glad that Reverend Bill and Glenda are here because he already mentioned it. I want to point out that there are individuals, well, I think the next slide actually is a quote by Harvey Milk. If you are not personally free to be yourself in the most important of all human activities, the expression of love, then itself loses its meaning. It is all about love. And some of the most exciting, loving people I know are involved from the cornfields of Spencer, Indiana. And there they are, walking at the World Pride March that just happened earlier this month. Spencer, Indiana, less than 2,500 people. And they have a festival in October that brings, last year, 7,000 people to this rural town. The next is two founders who are fathers. Some of you know it and love them, Jonathan and Jacob, the true expression of love. That founded Spencer Pride, and in 2016 got the building, which will be the next slide, on the corner, the historic corner of Spencer, across from the courthouse. That building is an amazing building. You walk in, and you can buy an umbrella like this for $24.99. Has a resale shop, has a community built rooms. Upstairs is a ballroom where they provide free dancing. They have health and wellness programs, youth programming, game night, banned books. They have all kinds of programs for all different ages, and everyone is always welcomed. And truly, you walk in and you have this sense by all volunteers that you're welcomed in that place. It's an amazing place. It makes me very, very proud. Wendy is actually on the board. And the next slide, her program that she leads faithfully, the third Saturday of every month, coming up this Saturday, is Rainbow Birders. And going all over the state and at least once a month, gathering together, learning and enjoying nature. The program that I run, which happens to be the third Sunday, because Sunday started on June started on a Sunday, so the third Sunday is today at 4 o'clock, is Rainbow Sunday Circle. And this is where we come together and we just talk about how do you have a more peaceful, joyful, loving life without the religious dogma. And it's been an absolute delight to share with the community as well. And last of all, if you do go to the center, you can go up into the ballroom and you can get a picture. You can take your umbrella if you want that you've purchased to help support the center, or not, because the bottom line is you are loved. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
If you haven't already, please check out her cool shoes. Thank you, Reverend Karen. So this is the point in the service where we have the opportunity to show our gratitude for what we continue to receive. A couple of things in the pocket in front of you, unless you're in the front row, could be helpful in this process. If you have cash or checks, then go ahead and put them in the envelope. If you want us to track your donation and you're giving cash, just fill out the envelope. Feel free to take this home also, and when you feel like inspired to pop a check in the mail to Unity of Bloomington, you've got the pre-addressed envelope right here. Of course, we do have on the website a method for donation. We also accept PayPal, and we have a text-to-give number for the more tech-savvy. Personally, I've never used it, but I think Reverend Manasseh has and said it's pretty easy. Okay. For visitors, if you might be here for the first time, we'd love to hear your first impressions. There's a blue form in the pocket in front of you. Please fill that out. And I believe that there is a QR code now to sign up to be a greeter. Not sure where that is in this.
It's in the pocket as well.
It is in the pocket as well. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, also on your bulletin. Very good. And all of those items can be dropped into the blue love offering bags. So now let's call the greeters forward. And together we're going to say our abundance affirmation. I am an abundant being in an abundant universe. I am not dependent on people or situations for my good. God within is the source of my supply. I always have something to give, and I consistently give it. I expect the best, I give my best, and I now attract the best in every experience.
I am one with the universal mind that created me. I know it grows in me day by day. I am one with the universal mind that created me, one with the mind of God. I am one with the one source of love. It's a part of me, deep in the heart of me. I am love. I am one with the one source of love. It's a part of me. I am one with love. I am one with the everlasting light that illumines me. I know it shines in me hour by hour. I am one with the everlasting light that illumines me, one with the one true power, one with the one true power.
If the greeters would please come forward, we're going to bless the love offering. And together, the words are on the screen. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
And I am grateful.
Thank you. Time for announcements. I'm really sad to announce that Rose Pulowski, longtime member of Unity of Bloomington, extraordinary vocalist. Rose has moved to Indianapolis, but before that, she was so active with Unity for a couple of decades. She's now at Bloomington Hospice House. And for those of you who know and love Rose, she would appreciate visitors in these auspicious days. This coming Saturday, to celebrate the beginning of summer, is Brianna here today? She's not. Okay, so we're going to be having a rummage sale this Saturday. Now, there will be no yoga on Saturday, but instead, you can come to the rummage sale. It's going to be held from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., and we're inviting donations. This is a fundraiser for Unity of Bloomington. If you can, please hold your donations until Friday evening. Brianna will be here the night before from 5 to 8 to accept any donations and get ready for the next day's adventures. Anything else to add to that? Just come, enjoy. Okay. Joni Spain has an announcement.
I don't.
You don't? 12 Powers class?
Okay, I guess.
Phyllis has an announcement.
If you are interested in kind of delving in a little bit deeper to the 12 powers that Reverend Manasseh has been talking about, we're going to start a discussion group for the 12 powers. Joni and I will be moderating that. And if you would let me know after the service this morning whether Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, or someday during the week works for you, we'll get that scheduled as soon as possible. Thanks.
It's rare to catch Joni speechless. And Reverend Manasseh is going to be making a few announcements as well.
So
let's see, we are talking about, a potluck and a pride celebration.
Let me apologize to Dan. If you remember one of my messages, I called him out because we hadn't had a potluck in a long time. And then Luke said, we're going to have the big gay pride potluck. And so on the last Sunday of this month, we're having a pride potluck. Bring all your best foods, bring all your yummy foods, and let's fellowship. Let's celebrate the LGBTQ plus community and celebrate this community. What's my other one?
Bloomington Pride Fest is in August.
So we're actually signed up for both Bloomington and Spencer, but we're going to need volunteers. So Luke, we already decided for Bloomington, we're going to use your overarching thing. They provide that at Spencer. So send Kat an email if you'd like to volunteer. We did 2-hour shifts last year. We have matching shirts. We can get you some more. But this is a chance. One of the things that Karen talked about, that whole verse. You know, I told you I was at a pride parade one time and they were talking all that mess, you're an abomination, and I thought, y'all should have waited till I walked past. So I walked straight up to them, got out of the line, and I said, 1 John 4:7-8, Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loves is born of God and knows God. The person who does not love does not know God, for God is love. So I think they were shocked that some gay weirdo was speaking the Bible, and that verse is hard to disagree with. And so people in the LGBTQ community need to know there's a welcoming, loving place. It's spiritual people. We love you, we see you, and we welcome you. And so let's get out there. John, I should have done something more formal. What are we going to do? Please send Kat an email, ministry@unityofbloomington.org, and we'll have something more official next time. Yeah, something more formal. And Reverend Bill, it did my heart good. Do y'all remember when I called him a badass? Right? How wonderful for this rabble-rouser, for this badass, to stand here and tell us all that in the end, in the beginning, and in the middle, it's love. And let us remember that. Do I have anything else to say, Susan?
You're done.
All right, thank you.
And just to review a couple of those dates, the potluck is June 29th, so that would be in 2 weeks from today, I think. Bloomington Pride Fest is August 23rd, and Spencer Pride Fest is October 4th. Okay. And now let's wrap things up by saying together our prayer for protection. Please stand if that's comfortable. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God washes over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now let's form a big circle, hold hands, and sing, Let There Be Peace on Earth.